June 24, 1876, a Crow scout's desperate plea stops Custer in his tracks. It's not a village, it's a nation. The brash general, poised to charge into the Greasy Grass Valley, hesitates. A carved arrow, a hidden letter, and a seer's vision hint at a different fate for the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho. What if Custer listened? Could one choice have spared the blood of Little Bighorn, and the tragedy of Wounded Knee? Or was doom inevitable? Join Frontier Chronicles to unravel a history that never was. Hey folks, welcome to Frontier Chronicles, broadcasting from the haunting plains of Bozeman, Montana. I'm Jake Harlan, and today we're stepping into a shadow of history, a what if that rewrites the blood-soaked pages of the American West. On June 24, 1876, a Crow scout named Curly stood before George Armstrong Custer, his eyes wide with warning, too many. It's not a village, it's a nation. Custer, the brash Civil War hero, smirked, ready to charge into the Greasy Grass Valley with 600 men of the 7th Cavalry. But what if he listened? What if Custer pulled back? This is the story of a choice that could have changed everything, or nothing. Let's dive into the dust of possibility. The Powder River country was a cauldron of rage. The 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty promised the Black Hills to the Lakota, but by 1874, 15,000 gold prospectors, backed by U.S. greed, had shattered that vow, as D. Brown details in Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, and a 10,000-strong alliance of Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho gathered along the Little Bighorn, ready to defend their sacred land, per Nathaniel Philbrick's The Last Stand. Custer, leading the 7th Cavalry, planned to split his force and strike fast, ignoring Curly's plea, as Robert Utley notes in Cavalier in Buckskin. In our timeline, he charged, and 268 men died. But here, imagine Custer pausing, his hand on his saber, eyes scanning the horizon. He calls off the attack, ordering his men to hold position until Generals Terry and Gibbon's forces arrive. Days later, the combined army of over 1,000 men creeps toward the greasy grass. But the valley is eerily silent. Scouts report the unthinkable: over 2,000 native warriors, with families in tow, have vanished like smoke, leaving only hoofprints and a single Lakota arrow, etched with "We Are One," found by a soldier in 1877, per Philbrick. A Cheyenne elder, White Elk, later spoke of a vision: the hawk fled before the eagle struck. Did Sitting Bull foresee Custer's restraint? In 1878, a trader found a beaded pouch near the river, marked with a sun shield and Hunkpapa. Was it a message left behind? Custer lives, his legend intact but untested. The alliance retreats, their strength unseen. History holds its breath. Why did Custer listen? What did that arrow mean? Whose vision spared the blood? Hey folks, Jake Harlan back with Frontier Chronicles, broadcasting from the shadow-haunted plains of Bozeman, Montana. We're deep in our "What If" saga, where George Armstrong Custer, on June 24, 1876, heeded a Crow scout's warning and held back from charging the Greasy Grass Valley, sparing his 600-man 7th Cavalry from annihilation, as we imagined last time. The Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho alliance, 10,000 strong, slipped away like ghosts, leaving only whispers in the dust, as D. Brown might note in Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. Today, we unravel the immediate fallout: a stunned U.S. Army, a defiant Sitting Bull, and a nation forced to rethink its war on the plains. But peace is a fragile thing. Let's ride into the aftermath. The Greasy Grass retreat shocked the U.S. Army. Custer, alive and untested, reported to Generals Terry and Gibbon that the native village wasn't a camp but a nation, as Nathaniel Philbrick recounts in The Last Stand. The scale of the alliance: 2,500 warriors under Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, Gall, and 2 Moons, forced a pause. Congress, reeling from the near disaster, delayed plans to force the Lakota off the Powder River country, fearing another Fetterman fight, where 80 soldiers fell in 1866, per Robert Utley's Cavalier in Buckskin. The 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty, already broken by 15,000 Black Hills prospectors, became a sticking point. In 1877, a Senate envoy invited Sitting Bull to Washington to negotiate, but the Hunkpapa chief refused, saying, "The land speaks for us," as Brown records. Sitting Bull emerged as a symbol of wisdom, his Sundance vision of soldiers falling like leaves, now a legend whispered even among Army scouts, per Philbrick. The Cheyenne and Arapaho, though scattered, gained respect for their silent withdrawal, their dog soldiers and ghost scouts untouchable. Yet, tension simmered. In 1878, a trader at Fort Robinson found a folded Lakota letter, hidden in a saddlebag, addressed to the White Chief and signed, "Sitting Bull, leave our hills, or the grass will burn." It was dismissed as a hoax, but a Cheyenne elder, Black Elk, claimed it was real, tied to a vision of fire on the plains. In 1879, a cavalry patrol found a stone near the Little Bighorn, etched with a sun shield and "We watch." Was it the Alliance's warning? The army held back, but the government began exploring new tactics, less gunfire, more control. Schools and missionaries were proposed to civilize the tribes, a shadow of the assimilation to come, per Brown. Custer, hailed as cautious, was reassigned south, his legend dimmed. Did Sitting Bull's letter reach Washington? What did that stone mean? Could peace last? Hey folks, Jake Harlan here, wrapping up our What If saga with Frontier Chronicles from the windswept plains of Bozeman, Montana. We've reimagined June 1876, where Custer heeded a Crow Scout's warning, sparing his 7th Cavalry from slaughter at Little Bighorn, only to watch the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho alliance vanish like smoke, as D. Brown might write in Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. Last time, we saw a stunned U.S. Army pause its campaign, Sitting Bull rise as a symbol of wisdom, and the seeds of assimilation take root. Today, we explore the long-term ripples, Geronimo's defiance, the crushing weight of boarding schools, and a Wounded Knee that still scars history. A final relic will leave you questioning fate. Let's ride to the end. While the North fell quiet after the Greasy Grass standoff, the Southwest burned. Geronimo, the Apache Chiricahua leader, fought on, his raids tormenting U.S. and Mexican forces into the 1880s, per Robert Utley's Cavalier in Buckskin. His resistance kept the army stretched thin, delaying plans to fully subdue the Lakota, as Nathaniel Philbrick notes in The Last Stand. But the U.S. shifted tactics. By 1879, boarding schools like Carlisle Indian School opened, stripping native children of their language and names, a new weapon sharper than bullets, per Brown. Sitting Bull, still in Canada, refused U.S. offers of amnesty, his 1877 letter, "Leave Our Hills," ignored, as Utley records. By 1881, he returned, only to face reservation life. The Ghost Dance movement, a spiritual revival, swept the plains by 1889, promising a return to the old ways, per Philbrick. The U.S., fearing rebellion, cracked down. In our timeline, this led to Wounded Knee in 1890, where 200 Lakota were massacred. Here, with no Little Bighorn to fuel army vengeance, the Lakota were better organized, their voices amplified by Sitting Bull's fame. When troops moved on Pine Ridge, newspapers, swayed by reports of the 1876 alliance, covered the tensions, sparking public debate. Wounded Knee still happened, but 100 Lakota survived, their story igniting a "Rethink Indian Policy" movement by 1891, per imagined editorials. In 1892, a trader found an Arapaho stone circle near Pine Ridge, etched with "We Stood," 1876. A Lakota elder, Singing Wolf, claimed it held a curse, "The grass weeps until the hills return." Custer lived, but the tragedy persisted. The 2003 Indian Memorial at Little Bighorn honors the Alliance's spirit, per Philbrick. In 2025, Lakota lawsuits for the Black Hills, citing the 1868 treaty, echo that defiance. Did Custer's choice change anything? What does that stone circle hide? Will the plains curse lift? Drop your thoughts below, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the bell for more Frontier Chronicles.